WKY Personality TV.
Hey, Unicornman, how are you today? My name is Dan D. Dynamo, Superintendent of the Space Science.
You are watching Oklahoma's News Channel 4.
Oklahoma's News Channel 4, looking out for you.
You know, it won't be long now where we'll be broadcasting from our brand new station.
Yeah, it's kind of an emotional time for us here. I remember coming into this building 50 years ago to watch my dad, Jack Ogle, anchor the news from here.
And your dad was one of the guys I interviewed with when I came knocking on the door looking for a job. There have been so many iconic OKC broadcast figures that have worked in this building.
And one of them was a DJ when WKY radio and TV were both housed here. And he made the move to the TV side and started a show that became an Oklahoma City treasure.
Now that's a story about Doc. I feel like I'm walking on hallowed ground. This is it, man.
The name Ronnie K seems synonymous with WKY.
93 WKY.
Here's a taste of how far back Ronnie goes with the old building.
The all-night guard is sitting there just laughing, and I'm saying, what are you laughing at? He said, there's this new guy. He said, I said, what's his name? He said, Johnny Carson. And that's when I was first at work here in 1962. I climbed these steps every day, every night too. Right here was the big window where you could look in at the disc jockey.
That's right. Ronnie was already a popular DJ when he had an idea for a show. He took his idea to his radio boss, Oklahoma City broadcast legend Danny Williams.
On a whim, which I do that a lot, I walked into his office and said, Danny, I want to do a dance show on TV. He said, that is ironic. He said, we just had a sponsor come to us, Dr. Pepper, and say they wanted to do a dance show.
Ronnie's idea became a mainstay on OKC TV.
The Scene, a montage of America's top music makers.
From 1966 to 1974, The Scene on Channel 4 was the local show to watch on the weekend. Teens lined up to get on The Scene, and not just teenagers liked it, according to the ratings researchers.
Older men love the show. And I thought, well, maybe those girls with the short dresses. I don't know.
And when Dr. Pepper dropped out, no problem. Just like the kids wanting on the dance floor at Channel 4, sponsors too were waiting in line.
And here comes a company called C.R. Anthony along. And they not only sponsored it locally, but they syndicated it for me all over the country.
You come in here, and you got to get some
nostalgic,
really strong memories.
A lot of memories here.
Along with the dancers came big name performers.
The kids danced out here everywhere. Ray Charles, about right here. Jerry Lee Lewis here on a piano.
For Ronnie and a lot of us that remember the music and dancers from The Scene in this building, it seems like only yesterday.
It was great. Let's do it again, people. I want to go it again.
And you know what? He could too. Ronnie is turning 80.
Can you believe that?
In a few weeks, and he still is great on the air. And whether it's called WKY, KTVY, or KFOR, this building has always been special.
You know, Channel 4 was always a legacy station, and tonight at 10, I'm going to show you some moments that made Channel 4 one of the premier broadcasters in the country.
All right, you know, exciting times are just ahead here at KFOR as we begin to transition to the new building. We bring with us not just computers, new cameras, reporters' notebooks.
And everything else, but also the rich legacy from the past of Channel 4 in this building. And the men and women who made it such a nationally recognized news operation. I recently sat down with legendary newsman George Tomic about his memories working here at what was originally called WKY. You worked here a long time.
Yeah.
Do you have any sentimentality about this place coming down?
Yeah, I do. And I've been thinking about it.
In 1966, George Tomic, a Navy veteran from Illinois, made his way to Oklahoma City and left his mark of broadcast excellence. In the early 70s, he was part of the Channel 4 dream team of anchors. It was George, Bob Berry, Jim Williams, and Jack Ogle.
Your dad, by the way, was the one who gave me the lasting feeling about editorializing. He said, we editorialize every time we make a decision not to use a story or to throw a story in the wastebasket. And I said, who was that coined by? And he said, Paul Harvey.
George was a broadcast professional through and through. He was a police beat reporter who worked the streets of Oklahoma City, went overseas to places like Guatemala to cover the tragic murder of an Oklahoma priest, covered Oklahoma politicians at political conventions around the country, worked to expose cults in Oklahoma, and his incredible professionalism won him countless awards from news organizations here in the state and across the country. And of course, there were also moments that could only happen at Channel 4. One involved the film that wouldn't dry properly, a 10 p.m. deadline, and pro wrestlers getting ready to appear on Danny Williams' Championship Wrestling.
I was panicking, and I asked a couple of them, can you help me? We got to dry this film. And yeah, we'll help.
So George sent them film in hand running out into the Oklahoma wind.
One of them had tights on, the other one had, short wrestling pants on. You look like a couple of Bolshoi ballet artists out there. But they got the job done, and we got it on the air.
That's great. And there was the time George and his anchor partner Jerry Adams were in perfect sync with each other. Too perfect.
News 4, Oklahoma.
Good evening, I'm Jerry Adams.
Jerry looked at me and he said, George? I said, thank you. And then I went right to the next story.
But for Channel 4 icon George Tomic, this business we're in is a serious business. And just because we're moving into a new building, the mission hasn't changed, bringing you, our viewers, vital information.
It's a tough job, but we had to do it. And you have to do it.
George is such a great guy. We used to be fishing partners when I worked here in the early 80s together, and he helped a lot of us young reporters with our scripts too. Tonight at 10, we're going to take another walk down memory lane.
A look back at the men and women who made what happened in this building so special over the decades.
You're with me in Studio B at Channel 4, and some would argue that this piece of real estate is among the most important in Oklahoma history. The men and women who scuffed these floors were pioneers of an industry that, at the time, was more science fiction than reality: television. The goal was to send sound and pictures from this place to your home. It hadn't been done before, but Channel 4 did it in 1949. We were the first television station in Oklahoma. Early programming was legendary.
Here we go into the future to visit 3D Danny.
Remember 3D Danny? A magnet for kids.
I salute you.
Well, I'm trying to find out some names.
Bazark was Danny's interstellar companion, and inside that contraption, a young station announcer, John Ferguson.
Nobody told us how to do it because they had never done it before.
The episodes were broadcast live, one of the highest rated kids shows in the nation.
2 years later, they come and said, can you create a character for a late night horror show?
Well, good evening.
And Count Gregor was
welcome
born.
Once again to Sleepwalker's Matinee.
A character Ferguson has played for 50 years.
Nothing but
Yeah, Dan, 100%. Look, we better look for a plan of action.
Also sharing Studio B, a cowboy with a seemingly endless supply of golden horseshoes. Foreman Scotty and the Circle 4 Ranch. Lucky kids celebrating their birthdays had a seat reserved on Woody, the birthday horse.
Hello, I'm Bud Wilkinson, football coach at the University of Oklahoma.
It was in our studios that the first coaches show in the nation aired. OU coach Bud Wilkinson patiently showed fans the inside secrets of his game plan. The first play-by-play analysis on television.
We had 2 tornado alerts this afternoon. And
severe weather coverage was born at Channel 4.
Tornadoes have been predicted as possible by the Bureau.
In 1952, Harry Volkman made history by broadcasting the first live tornado warning in the nation. Channel 4 set the bar for weather coverage, backed by owners who believed in technology.
And Ed Gaylord was, as far as I was concerned, the one that really made the station become what it is today. He was always ready to open the pocketbook to make sure you had the finest technology and equipment for you to do your job.
It was over in New Mexico the early part of yesterday.
Tomorrow morning will be quite cold once again.
Jim Williams spent 32 years in the Channel 4 Weather Department, looking for new and creative ways to broadcast weather information. Station carpenters built the early weather sets.
This is the news.
The cube we used to write on, and on that cube was 4 maps. It was a Formica.
They had to find something that would write on the surface, and in doing so, invented a primitive version of a Sharpie.
Well, it was a piece of felt we put in a bottle we made up with a little fluid in it, like an Elmer's glue bottle, and we wrote on it.
How did he memorize all those temperatures?
Well, I'll tell you a secret.
Tell me.
I have a red pen, and that red pen I could write on that Formica. I wrote all my little cute, and you couldn't see it. I haven't told very many people that, but.
He's most proud of the weather tool he invented that's now used worldwide.
I did the first little marquee map that we ever put on the air anywhere. Now everybody's doing it.
The marquee map is the warning map that appears on your screen during severe weather.
The severe thunderstorm in southwestern Oklahoma now is
Prior to Jim's map, the meteorologists had to wait to broadcast their warnings live. With the on-screen map, the information is available instantly without interrupting programming.
They could just turn the TV on and it would tell them what it was.
Channel 4's history was centered in the building we've called home for close to 70 years. As we make the move to our new building, only a stone's throw away, we're reminded of the hundreds of men and women whose talent, creativity, and ingenuity made Channel 4 a legacy station, a blueprint that will move us into the future.
You know, we have changed over the years and we're moving forward again. One thing that's lasted through name changes and logo changes is our commitment to helping you, our viewers. It's something our dear friend Brad Edwards started decades ago, and it's a legacy In Your Corner reporter Scott Hines continues.
Hi, this is Brad Edwards in your corner. When you hear the beep, please leave your name, a telephone number where you can be reached during the day, and a brief description of your problem, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can. Thanks, and have a good day.
Didn't matter who was leaving the message, Brad Edwards was going to listen.
I like being with the people and being one of the people. I want to be a normal guy with them, because I am a normal guy. I'm just an average guy.
Average, though, he was not.
God tore up the mold when he made him.
A champion of the people.
My assignment in your corner is to be a watchdog and a troubleshooter.
Brad got his start in broadcasting in the Air Force before bursting onto the scene at Channel 4. Brad did it all. Anchor, reporter, photographer, and he worked with legendary Channel 4 outdoor reporter Don Wallace. But it was Brad's tireless work inviting us to come to his corner for help that we'll remember most.
I was totally shocked. I could not believe it. What took me over 3 years, he accomplished in about 2 hours.
And we now have $405 for Vera.
And he did it with humility and humor.
I'm Brad Edwards. Mail.
Jesus. And guts.
Sometimes we do just walk in on them.
You got your nerve coming back here.
That can cause a point of friction.
Get your ass out of here now.
More than a decade later, the In Your Corner team is still soldiering on. Do you have any remorse for what you've done?
Do I have remorse?
Exposing the injustices and taking care of our neighbors. Hold out your hand. The check.
For what?
For $794.
Thank you so much, Scott. I know why people call you now. I know why people say they love you.
Brad set the standard.
This holiday season, let an angel show you care.
We're proud to carry that legacy forward with programs like Joy for Kids, Warmth for Winter, and Fans for Oklahomans. The Corner has never been brighter.
Thanks for joining us and good night.
The News is a production of KTVY, Oklahoma City.
I'm Scott Hines, in your corner.
Brick and mortar. These studio walls hold pieces of Oklahoma history. Tonight, from pioneers with a vision for the future to the future of broadcasting. Tonight, the people past and present who've made it happen.
And as we say goodbye to the original Channel 4 building, here's a look at the first day I walked into this building. I was 15 months old, and my mom was showing me off on Danny's Day. Danny Williams used to have babies and infants on the show all the time. This was in December of 1969. My sister Whitney later appeared as well. I'm proud to say I got to meet Danny Williams a few times later in life, and it has been a privilege to me to know some of the Channel 4 legends through the years. One of those people I'm proud to say I've known for a long time is former sports anchor and reporter Robbie Robertson. I grew up watching Robbie along with Bob Sr. and Bob Jr. Robbie was here for about 16 years and got to cover a very successful time in Oklahoma sports.
That's what happens in live television, folks.
And on the weekends,
Robbie Robertson came to what was then WKY Radio and TV, fresh out of college in 1973, hired by the legend himself, Bob Berry.
Bob put together a pretty good team. We were knowledgeable. We were trainable. We thought we were pretty good. And I think the television audience thought we were pretty good, and we just loved each other.
In addition to producing daily sportscasts, Robertson worked on coaches' shows at both OU and OSU.
For a part of the time, I was doing OSU football and OU basketball at the same time, during the same year. So that meant that I got hate mail all year long, which I thought was great. I appreciated that. And it was fun. And they paid me. Unbelievable. It's just a great time. When you produce shows like that, you're traveling with the team, you're with them a lot, and you get to know people, and there are not many days that go by, Brian, that I don't think about Bob Sr., Bob Jr., and Wayman. They all left us way too soon. And they impacted my life. And you think about those people.
Robertson became close friends with OSU baseball coach Gary Ward and OU football coach Barry Switzer, who surprised Robbie down at the Orange Bowl.
You will be totally surprised as to how many people in this market were watching TV the night that he kissed me in the Orange Bowl. People still go, I saw Switzer kiss you on TV. Give me a break.
Robertson became well known for his famous sign-off to his reports.
The Cowboys will go to Omaha as the #1 ranked team in the nation. Robbie Robertson, News 4 Sports.
It's just the way it came out,
Brian Brinkley, News Channel 4 Sports. My little tribute to Robbie there, and it's truly an honor for me to follow in the footsteps of him, Bob Berry Sr., Bob Berry Jr., Robert Allen, Ron Thulin, and a legacy of sportscasters here at Channel 4. A lot of great memories in this building.
You are making the legacy proud, my friend.
Thank you.
To the next.
This building has been our home for 70 years. So as you can imagine, leaving is bittersweet. And as we get ready to do that, we want to remember the men and women that you invited into your homes, almost as family. And if you recall, sometimes when you go to a family reunion, people will gather around, talk about what was, and someone will finally say, do you remember when?
WKY Personality TV. Looking back on all the things I've seen, all the places I have been, traveled far, touched the stars.
The Newsroom with Ernie Schultz.
Treasuring the power of a friend.
Hey, Unicorn, how are you today? My name is Dan D. Dynamo.
Believing that hurts will mend, knowing there is nothing we can't do.
Football coaching is teamwork, just exactly the same as playing the game.
Remember, do you remember when there was a dream to chase the dark away, to see the world, to make a brighter day, to overcome our problems come what may? Do you remember when?
From Oklahoma City, Linda Cavanaugh, Jerry Adams, Jim Williams, Bob Berry. This is News 4 Oklahoma.
The storms of life have come and gone. Now together we stand strong. The bond we share will never die.
Thank you very much, Gary. It was in this very room today that more than 35 kids were brought after having
to a challenge is our way. We're creating history each day. Hold my hand and we can fly.
Straight out, and this is a substation that's being hit by the tornado.
Roads are very dangerous. We've had numerous accidents. It was a station in one mill one day.
Who will remember when? The dream is now. Amid our laughter and tears to overcome all our hopes and fears, and looking back at these golden years, we will remember when. We will remember when there was a dream to chase the dark away, to see the world, to make a brighter day.
I'm Brad Edwards.
There's no business like show business.
3, 2, 1. Another great place to look for bargains when it comes to
Amid our laughter and tears,
This is no time to frown. It's time to get down all over town.
hopes and fears, throughout these golden years, we will remember when.
I hope you enjoyed today.
We will